What is up, enthusiasts? It is Cedar Flags here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. So, in today's video, we are going to be going back to Cedar Point. This park sports a lot of different rides and a great collection of rides, but today we are going to be looking at a ride that they recently removed. That ride is Professor Delbert's Frontier Fling. Since it's coming down, or has already come down, this means another empty space at Cedar Point. And considering that this is next to a few other closed rides, there could be a massive new ride here. So today, let's talk about it. In today's video, I'm going to talk about Frontier Fling, the plot that the ride sits on, see potential replacements for that ride, and talk about the future of Cedar Point's Frontier Trail as a whole, because I truly feel like a lot can change with this new ride being removed. So let's get right into it. This is Cedar Flags, and today, we are going to be asking what's replacing Frontier Fling at Cedar Point. So before we get into predicting the replacement, let's look at the original ride that this space occupied. So, Frontier Fling opened up all the way back in 1996 as Ripcord, and it actually opened up in the spot of Challenge Park, which is where Cedar Point Shores stands today. Back then, the water park was known as Soak City, and a park named Challenge Park, which featured upcharge attractions like go-karts, was in this area, and it featured this ride. Now, in 2017, it was moved into the park to the Frontier Trail to feature a new name, Professor Delbert's Frontier Fling. The ride opened up with some decent scenery and theming, but the ride's last season ended up being last year, and throughout the off-season, it was seen being torn apart, and the ride is no more as of 2025. So, let's get to the actual ride experience. First off, this is a dual swing sky coaster. There are some sky coasters that have one, but others that have dual swings, which have two sets of swings for added capacity. For each of these swings, 1 to 3 riders get strapped and get hoisted up around 150 feet in the air. They pull the ripcord at the top and drop straight down to a speed of 65 miles an hour. And I gotta say, this is probably one of the biggest adrenaline rushes on a ride. The rest of the ride is extremely fun as well, as it has you swinging back and forth. These rides are all over the world, but we have been seeing a lot of them torn down recently, including this one, as well as a few other from the Six Flags chain. These rides are fun, very adrenaline-inducing, and of course, just overall, a fun, long, and enjoyable ride. But, with this ride closing down, it opens up a new empty plot of land in the park, connects more plots of land, and could possibly open up the space for something major. So, in the next part of the video, let's get into the plot of land that this ride sits on. So, this ride sits in between Millennium Force and Forbidden Frontier, right in the middle of the Frontier Trail, on the way back to Maverick. The plot of the Sky Coaster was about an acre in size, and was right off of the midway. But, there is more land like I said. Frontier Fling was in between not 1, not 2, but 3 recently closed attractions. Snake River Falls, Snake River Expedition, and Forbidden Frontier. First talking about Snake River Falls, this was an Intamin shoot-the-shoot that ended up closing last year. This was next to Skyhawk and Frontier Town, and very much provided a great water ride with a great splashdown. Another ride that shares the Snake River title is Snake River Expedition. This was a water ride, not specifically a shoot-the-shoot, but a boat ride that went around the water surrounding Adventure Island. This had a lot of theming attached to it and was an overall experience. Unfortunately, the ride closed as well in the past few years. Finally, I want to talk about Forbidden Frontier. This area opened up back in 2019 and was basically its own area. Now, this area didn't feature any rides, but it had many more attractions to experience. You would interact with the characters in the area and would go on multiple adventures. There was a lot of theming, and it was mainly for families. But this area saw its closure last year, so this is another empty plot. And what ride was in the middle of all of these closed rides? Professor Delbert's Frontier Fling. So, with this sky coaster being removed, there is this massive plot of land now sitting in the middle of Cedar Point that has a lot of potential. If you don't know, this would be around a 5-acre plot of land, which stretches from Millennium Force all the way back to Cedar Creek Mine Ride. And so, there is a lot of potential for this plot. It could house so much, and will add a lot to both the Frontier Trail and Frontier Town. After Siren's Curse, I could easily see this being the new plot of land that they focus on, because like I said, it's a huge amount of empty space right in the middle of the park. So, let's get into what I could see in this area in the next part of the video. So like I said, with the impressive size of this area, there is a lot that you could fit here. So, if they were to add something major here, I wouldn't necessarily see it come instantly. Siren's Curse will be the third coaster that Cedar Point adds in a row, as they added Wild Mouse in 2023 and Top Thrill 2 in 2024. I think it would be pretty ambitious to go with 4 coasters in a row, and I think that they would definitely take a gap year or two before they added something major again at this park. But, when it gets to that time, I could see this area holding this next ride. Something I could easily see coming in this area regardless of a ride is an upgrade to the Frontier Trail. With all of this space, and all of the theming that's in the Frontier Trail, I would love to see even more put in. I could also see new stores, new Frontier Trail theming in this area, and of course, maybe even a new restaurant. Cedar Point's been adding a lot of new restaurants, and I think, with a new ride in this area, a new restaurant would fit the purpose as well. It could be Frontier Trail themed, and would extend into Frontier Town as well. We would most likely see this with just about any new addition, as like I said, the area is well themed, and Six Flags has been putting more effort into theming recently. So let's get into some of the actual roller coasters that I could see coming. Now, I have 3 models that I've kind of narrowed it down to because these are 3 that I could really see coming to Cedar Point in the next few years. The first one is the Mock Rides water coaster. Now, I've talked a lot about this model when it comes to Cedar Point, and I continue to say this would be a great fit for the park, because it is the perfect mix between a water ride and a roller coaster. This ride, 1, would be very unique to the park and region, and 2, have many different variations to it. You could have a lift hill, you could have a launch, you could even have indoor sections. Like I said, this ride would add a lot to this park. And especially with Snake River Falls closing last year, this park would do really good with a new water ride. This would also be across the midway from Thunder Canyon, which would provide a 2-for-1 water ride experience, just like Snake River Falls provided. The Mock Water Coaster has recently seen a lot of innovation, whether it be launches or even unique elements that would never even be thought on a water coaster. The next one I want to be talking about is a GCI wooden coaster. Now, GCI has been doing so much when it comes to wooden coasters. Looking at rides like Mystic Timbers at Kings Island and Prowler at Worlds of Fun, these rides are absolute machines. The parks take very good care of these, and the layouts are just very good as a whole. And I think if Cedar Point added a GCI similar to these, with a nice twister or out and back layout, I think it would very much benefit this park in so many ways. First off, it could be any size. It could be smaller, it could be absolutely massive with the land that we have. This ride would be the only modern wooden coaster in the park, and, personally in my opinion, look great with the Frontier Trail. It would be different enough from Blue Streak because, like I said, it's modern, and Blue Streak is a classic wooden coaster. Overall, I think this experience would be very much different from all the other rides at the park, and would definitely be a standout attraction at Cedar Point. Finally, I want to get to the last model I want to talk about in this video, and that is another model I've talked about before, even for this park. A ride model I would love to see here, it is the Mock Rides Extreme Spinner. Especially in this plot of land, I think an Extreme Spinner would do great. Now, this is, if you don't know, a thrilling spinning coaster. It's a mock launch coaster, but with spinning cars attached to it. Even though this coaster would be another multi-launch added to the park's lineup, I think it would be different enough from the rest of the park because of its spinning cars. It would have spinning cars along with the multi-launch aspect, and both of those together provide a very nice thrill. This along with some inversions and airtime, and you could have one of the best coasters at Cedar Point. This ride is also very unique to American enthusiasts, as there is only one other in the United States, being Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City, which in my experience is an extremely fun and an extremely re-rideable coaster as well. This ride is just so much fun, and the different rides you get almost each time very much add to the ride. Overall, I think the Frontier Trail and Frontier Town are going to see very nice additions in the future, even though we're losing a ride, which was very fun in my opinion. This massive empty plot of land is definitely a sign that we're going to see something new at this park very soon. So, let me know in the comments below what you could possibly see replacing this ride, and Let me know what you thought about Professor Delbert's Frontier Fling if you got to ride it. I know I got to for a while, and it was great. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, this is Cedar Flags, and I will see you all later.